Hey, Dennis Worth here, and this handsome devil up here is the child support superhero, and I am in search of the ultimate story. Got a letter here from Sherry. I want to thank you for writing in, Sherry, because spreading awareness is the key. Keep writing in, folks. I'll keep getting the information out there. Wow, she really, I know a lot of people want to tell their story, and you get going, it's easy to go, and she sent me in a long letter here. I appreciate you writing in. Try to keep it to a couple of paragraphs, and that way people will want to stay tuned, and let's tell her story anyway here. As a single mother who raised two children, I will say that I agree with you 100%. Children need both their parents, and what happens to a child who is caught in the middle of a dispute is emotional torture on the child. Adults need to realize that they are supposed to be adults and stop making the children have to be the adults in the situation of divorce or separation. It should not be the child who has to suffer because two adults can't work out their problems. I never stopped my children from having a relationship with their father, even though we couldn't get along. Children are not objects that we own. If we choose to have children, then we are responsible for their well-being and making sure that they are raised with the proper morals to make the world we live in a better place. We do not own them. We are given a set number of years to make sure that they can survive in the world on their own and be kind to others, and teaching them that they are objects that can be bartered for is not something that will install positive self-worth in them. They will feel like there is a price put on whether or not they can be loved, and no child deserves that. Just remember, moms and dads, just because you don't like each other now, you choose to have a child together. No one forced you to do it, so obviously there was something about the other person that you thought would make a good role model for the child, so focus on that and let each other do their job as a parent. The child don't need to know why you can't live together anymore, and they only need to know that it isn't their fault. And if you put them in the middle, then they will think it is. If you choose to have a child in hopes to save a relationship, then shame on you. Don't deny the child their right because you messed up. No person is responsible for someone else's happiness, especially not the child, and that is an awful burden to place on the young. Grow up to do the adult thing and do what is right for the child you chose to have, not what is right for you. And hey, Sherry, you hit it dead on. Your child's got to come first, and both parents always say it, my child come first. When it comes down, you're going to try to convince yourself that your personal feelings are what is in the best interest of your child. And there was a judge who wrote a letter to two people that were breaking up, and they said, every time you tell your child that his father is a no good piece of whatever, or every time you tell your child your mother is just a this and that, you're telling that child that half of him or her is no good. And what parent would want to tell, your child that half of them is no good? Yeah, it has to stay between the adults, and it's not an easy situation when you break up to do. And certainly, you hit it dead on when, the child has to become the adult because the adults are acting like children. You got a pretty broken system right there. So there is help out there, and I can't stress this enough. What I'm doing on the internet here is I'm trying to get awareness out. But certainly I'm not a qualified medical professional, but it helped me. I am a victim of parental alienation, and I had no clue what was going on. I was totally lost, and finally I went to YouTube, and I looked up in one night I must have watched over 100 videos on parental alienation, and it was like a weight had been lifted off of me because, the situation didn't change, but at least I knew at that point what was going on. The information is at your fingertips, and education is the key. Educate yourself about what's going on, educate yourself about what caused it, and educate yourself about how to solve the problem. And education is going to be your best weapon in getting your children back in both parents' lives. And it's got to be, both parents need to work above their own needs. You need to work together, and you break up because you hate each other, and getting each other on the same page is not an easy thing to do. But certainly, is it an easier thing to do than repairing a broken child? I think absolutely it is, because nobody wants to break the child, because both parents love your child, and that's when you got to put him first, him or her first. Put your kids first. Do what the right thing is. Get the information, folks. And I'm getting the information out there. I'm the child support superhero. You got a better story than this? Go to Facebook. You like up the page. You send him a message, and I'll get your story out there. And hey, together we're going to give kids mom and dad back. Till next time, thank you.